What is up, YouTube and X? I have a very special guest. I have Sam on, and you are the European head scout. Is that correct?
Yes, head of European scouting for future considerations.
That is so cool. Can you tell me about where you got started? And then we're going to do a top 16 mock draft.
Okay, so I got started. I was 16 years old. We started a hockey page in Slovakia, which was like, okay, nobody is good at reporting the NHL. So we're like, okay, we're gonna do it ourselves with our friend group. And then after 2 years of that, I was like, we need some different content to really stand out. And I was like, nobody's doing scouting. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. So I learned everything to it. I was like 18, still in high school, and a year later, I do all the writing. I watch video. I never really got to the games back then, and a year later, I got approached by Dover Prospects. So I spent 3 years there as a area scout for my region. Uh, I didn't really went to games; it was mostly video work, and after 3 years, we said our goodbyes, and then I spent a year and a half just writing Substack articles and focusing on my scouting in general because I really wanted to nail down like what's actually like how am I going to do this long term. And then opportunity arises to join FC in 2024 as an area scout. I'm like, okay, sure, I'm gonna join. Why not? Um, so that started. I was scared to go anywhere alone. I never went as a child, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to Finland for the U18s. Why not? All right, what could go wrong, right? I was scared like a child when I went there. It was fun. It was really fun, and that was my first like, live tournament experience there. I went to Hlinka the previous summer, but it wasn't like as like aimed as this one. This was on purpose to go there and just get used to this because you're gonna get a lot of this. And I kind of made it my tradition. I want to go to every single one now, the U18s and some other tournaments as well. And then after half a year, I just did everything I could to write reports, and I got and my boss at FC said like, Sammy, I want you to be the head of European scouting for us because you put in a lot of work. I mean, you want to go. I was straight up with him. I'm like, I want to go to the NHL.
Mhm.
Like this is a stopping ramp into NHL. I'm not gonna be here for long. I don't plan on being here long, but as long as I'm here, I'm gonna do my best and improve the site and do reports and attend games and stuff. So this season, as a head of European Scout, I felt obliged to actually go to games, and I went basically every weekend to the games whenever I had a chance. It's basically like work, 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 game, game, work, travel, game, work, work, nonstop, and that's fun. Like I fell in love with that, like traveling part. So whenever I talk to like NHL people, I'm like, okay, I don't need to be like area scout. I can be like a
Mhm.
crossover to go everywhere. You can send me everywhere. I will go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll go
So
anywhere. Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
I don't really care. Like whatever you send me, I want to go to all the tournaments. I want to go to all the different leagues, games, explore what the hockey world is like in other regions as well, not just mine. I'm gonna get mine covered because it's not well, it's difficult, but it's part of it. But I want to like use my youth to advantage and just be able to go somewhere, right? And that's why I'm going to tournaments as well. Like I love being around these people. I love talking to them. I met with a lot of them in Texas. I get to talk to a lot of them, and all. Basically, it was I was surprised how many people actually like knew my work,
Mhm.
honestly, because I as as I wouldn't say egoistic as I sound sometimes, just being like I'm gonna be this next big thing because I have that confidence in my work, but I'm like extremely humble and I never think of myself as something too special or whatever. Like anybody would know me. I just have to work hard. Someday, maybe they will. And I was surprised. A lot of uh, talking to them was like connecting face to the work. It's like, oh, we know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You work with Tauber. Yeah, 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 yeah. You are now with FC. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We know. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm like, that's fun. That's fun. And so I'm head of
That's
European
awesome.
scouting now, and I love that role. I love the guys on my team. I love discussing things with them, and I don't know. I can see myself like that's I and Aaron Pickers, my boss at FC. He knew, and I was like, I'm not sure if I'm suited for this. And he was like, Sammy, screw your feelings, do it. I
Yeah.
want you to because he basically said like, Sammy, I want you to be ready when you get in. I want you to know all this stuff. I not want you to know how to run meetings. I want you to know how to travel to games. I want you to know this and this because he sees that drive I have. I was never able to play hockey
Mhm.
for financial reasons. Not that I didn't want. I was like every summer I was like, Mom, Dad, get me like into academy or something. Since I was like 7, it was like, give me. I want to play hockey. I want to play, and I play different sport. I play soccer. I played the football and ball hockey and all of the other things to get as close to hockey as possible. But I never had. We never had money, that
Mhm.
kind of money to play hockey, and that drive comes from there. Like some people I know in hockey, not necessarily NHL people, like like thank God you're not a player. You'll be running people over for no good reason.
Yeah.
It's like I have that type of attitude, and so my drive comes from there. It's like proving everybody wrong. It's like every step of the way. And
Yeah.
my parents don't really understand like what I'm trying to accomplish, which is fine.
Mhm.
But one day they might understand. One day.
I am going to be watching your journey for a very long time. You sounded like you were a Shane Van Sage type of hockey player that was just trying to hit everybody. I love that.
Yeah,
I mean,
except I have a height of Cameron Schmidt, but I was that kind of.
yeah,
I'm like 5'8".
gotcha.
I'm like 5'8", but I was always the youngest one in every sport I
Mhm.
played because I played up the age, uh, and I was always the guy who bites a lot. Like I that goes after the best players and that does order like whenever there were scrums or something, I was the first one in, and so I was that kind of player, and I'm that kind of person. And those people are just the best people, but whenever they step on the ice or the field or whatever, they they just become stone cold, and I want to be that. I'm I'm kind of that in my work and my
Mhm.
life too.
Well, I love your confidence, and I do believe that you're going to make it to the NHL level too. If people are already noticing your work, and those tournaments for people that don't know that are watching this, there are so many GMs, front office people, scouts that they just all
They
basically
look
talk to everybody
intimidating.
there. They do, but they're
They look
not that
really
much.
and they are nice people. Like
Yeah.
I talked to one GM last year in Finland, and I was like, I'm so scared to meet you, and it's like, why? I'm a nice guy. Come on, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Like I So the first time I had experienced any NHL event was the scouting combine because I'm fairly new to the social media world and I didn't really have a following to get to having media credentials. I mean, I've been
I
writing
mean,
for a
you
long
are
time,
crushing
but
it, man.
thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate that. I want to make it to the NHL one day too. So, uh, just because like that's my passion. I think we have a lot in common because I never got to play hockey because it was so expensive. I mean, it was like $7,000 a year, and that would have been like our rent at our apartment building. So it was
Yeah.
either one or the other. And I did the skating, and I just well, I was probably more of the Porter Martone-esque type skater, not Colin Potter. And obviously I could have got better. I was like 5 or 6, but my family was like, "You are not making it to the NHL. Like we are not, like not like that. Like they're very supportive, but it was just so expensive, you know. And it's an investment to everybody and all these kids and prospects
I
that are getting
admire
into the
all the
league.
parents. Honestly, I admire
Exactly.
all the parents because heads down, like whatever people say in public, say like, "Oh, parents need to be this and they need to like step aside and be quiet." It's like no, like they are investing their lives into their kids who can play the best sport on the planet, I think, and
Exactly.
they have a shot of being something, right? And whether that kid makes it or not, I mean, honestly, even if they don't, they get the work ethic for life from that and just being an athlete growing up. I think it gives you a certain perspective.
Having to wake up for 6 a.m. skates, 7 a.m. skates, skating every single day for hours. You have the workout, you have to perform on ice and off ice in the media. It's just there's so much that goes into it. And even if you don't make the NHL, you still could be playing professional hockey elsewhere. There's so many different leagues, there's so many ways to make money in this league, or this sport. So like you said, I believe it's the greatest sport in the world. I think that it's the greatest trophy to win in the world with the Stanley Cup. Obviously,
Oh
the
my
Panthers
god!
just
I
won.
Yeah, I like Stanley Cup. I was in Toronto for like 2 summers ago. I feel I think in case I remember wrong. Yeah, 2 summers ago, I went to Hockey Hall of Fame. I was mesmerized. I almost cried while I was looking at it. Like I couldn't have that as a player ever, and I didn't touch it. I have a photo with it. I didn't touch it, and I'm not gonna touch it until until I win it, and that I I already have like my manifestation type of thing. Like I
Yeah.
already know what I'm gonna do with it. Like I already
What does
have
your day
like a
with the cup
whole.
look like?
I wouldn't tell you.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
when it happens. It happens, right? But I I want one thing I would say with the cup. I'm gonna bring it to my. This will take a dark turn. I promise. I didn't want it. I will take it to my grandpa's grave. And one of my close buddies died last year after New Year's Eve. He was 22 years old, and he is like 10 feet next to my grandpa. I want to bring them the cup, and then
I'm really
that
sorry to hear
makes
that.
me that
Yeah.
that makes me emotional even to this day. But that's my like they're going to get it.
hmm I mean, thank you so much for being open, and I am sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
It's always
it's
tough.
fine. It's fine now. Like, but that really like yeah, you're gonna see the cup. I'm gonna just take it to to their graves and just
hmm
even they are not here with us anymore. They would take a look at it. They would have they would be there.
That is absolutely just an awesome goal to have, winning the Stanley Cup in any kind of role. I mean, I believe that you can get a Stanley Cup if you're in any sort of role in the front office, but I really appreciate you for being honest too. And that is very tough to go through. So I really am sorry to hear that. Just
It
like,
happens. It's life.
yeah, it does. Yeah. Um, I've really never thought about doing that. I think if I won the Stanley Cup, I would definitely, I don't know. like my father passed away when I was a freshman in high school. It would probably be nice to
Sorry
but
to hear
like to
that,
go
buddy.
to his grave. No, like now that you're being honest, I think that it would be interesting. I never really thought about it like that. I always thought like golfing, put the balls in it or something like that, but more like better, I guess, to ground yourself with it while also winning it and bringing it to who helped you get there. And I think that that's something that's interesting too. I've never actually
I
heard
want to
anybody say
bring it.
that.
Yeah, I also want to bring it to my elementary school in my village to let the kids who might not have the best chance of in lives be like, well, he made it out of here, so they can too have some
Yeah.
motivation for life too. And that like I want to be in. Like, I say this as humbly as I can. I want to be an inspiration for next generation. I was like, I want kids to be like, oh, I can't play hockey because it's expensive. Okay, I'm just gonna follow this guy. He made it despite that. He won the cup despite that, or whatever. Like
Mhm.
I want to be that for the next generation. And I say it as humbly as I could because I'm truly as humble as I get, but I have confidence. I have the that bite still there. I yeah.
I don't think that you can truly make it to the top and to the NHL without that confidence in yourself, with as well as that grit, that grind that you have to put in the hours, the extra hours, like having to work on Sunday throughout the entire day, and your friends are going out playing basketball or whatever. Like there are so many sacrifices you have to make
Like
just to get to the top.
sometimes I just sometimes it's tough being like, oh, I'm still not in there because I feel ancient. Like I'm 26 now. I feel ancient. Like and I spoke to NHL Scout. He was like, buddy, you'll be like the third youngest. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm still fine.
I'm also 26. When's your birthday?
May 11th.
Oh, okay. I'm July 10th, so I'm older than you a little bit, but yeah, I am 26 too. I felt that I was old for this industry, and at the combine, I was told to shut up because that made them feel bad because I was
Yeah,
talking.
because they're all. I would talk to OHL Scout a few years ago, and he was like, buddy, you don't realize how ahead of everybody you are just because most of the guys who end up scouting for teams are
Mhm.
still not even they don't barely know what scouting is because they are playing hockey. They're
Oh,
still
that's a good
playing
point.
professional, like they're playing until their 30s and 40s, right?
Yeah.
Then they move to scouting in their 40s, right? So and I started when I was 18, so just a bit of a head start, but I will never have that he played hockey label. And that's another driving point. I want to prove people wrong every step of the way.
I think that Scott, I think that viewpoint is kind of quickly going away. I mean, probably maybe not in the NHL areas, but I feel that if you've grown up watching the game and seeing the successful players, and now that everything is online with all this access, it's very hard for people that haven't played hockey. So I think they work like they have to prove to themselves all the time that they can do this as well. So I think that there's just different. I mean, Kyle Davidson never played hockey, or I mean, he did play hockey, but he wasn't a hockey NHL player. So I think people always kind of knock him for that. But he's an incredible GM. I think that notion is kind of going away a little bit. I mean, I grew up playing floor hockey. I don't think that that would, or on roller skates. I mean, I don't think that that would really make a difference in NHL
I think
rooms.
it's. I think to be honest, if you have an athletic like, background as a kid, I mean, you know what it's like being in the room. You know what the values are. Like you know how to work hard, and as long as you have those values, I think you can make it. I think there is value to having ex pro players be in the scouting department.
100%.
I feel like I feel like people online and are like really, and I want to word it nicely, being just bad sport about it. Uh, if I will, they're like hurt because, well, some team hired former player instead of, I don't know, my buddy who scouts for 5 years for a network or something, right? And there is value to everything. You have to have every kind of different background in scouting to provide different viewpoints in meetings, and how to navigate like free agency, how to navigate a draft floor, how to do this or that, and just as long as you have that drive, as long as you have that confidence, I think, and knowledge, and you're willing to learn, you you will succeed and never give up. Because many people give up way before they are able to accomplish anything.
I completely agree. When I started this, and then we'll go on to the top 16 mock draft for those that are watching, because I think that this is a brilliant conversation just based on, this journey is one that I think finds you a little bit. I never really went out and searched for it. I was a nursing student that wanted to be a nurse practitioner, and then I studied abroad in Germany, and because a hurricane destroyed the nursing building, so I went to, business school. I did finance degree, and then the COVID kind of happened. I started, really following the NHL draft. I mean, 2019, 2020, 2021, I really just fell in love with it. I mean, I've been watching it for a very long time, but really interested in it and writing and things like that. And I think that it just like the journey and like you start getting
It
into this
finds you.
flow where, yeah, yeah. And it just starts picking up. Like I have no idea what I was doing when I had joined Draft Pros as a contributor, worked my way up there, just trying to just, I think that if everything was given to me, I don't think I would have enjoyed it, and I don't think I would have had the drive. If you go out and get it, like
It's
whatever
part of
you
it.
want, yeah, I think it
It's
completely
part of
is.
it. You have to have that grit. You have to have that bite. I always say, like, you have to
Yeah.
have a bite. You need to be as humble as you can, because life's gonna kick you down every step of the way.
Mhm.
And that's for me, that's the great filter, like in everything, whether that's business, whether that's sports, whether that's whatever. Life is gonna life is gonna try to pin you down as much as you can. Like, for example, like a month before I joined FC, my grandpa died. It's like, Sammy, are you gonna quit or are you gonna take the next step? Stuff like that happens. And and right before I got the head of scouting role, right, I was like at the lowest, at my one of my lowest points, because I lost 80 pounds over last year.
Mhm.
I was really, really big, and I got really big through depression, and just being like, okay, are you gonna pull yourself out of this, or are you quitting? And I pulled myself out. I pulled myself out, and I elevated the next step. I got the head scouting role, and now I'm not really waiting for another another bad situation to happen, because I don't really want it. It's not good. It's not fun, but it's something you gotta. Life is gonna try to pin you down as much as they can. You just gotta keep going. You gotta get through that filter, and I tell it to everybody I talk to. Like, don't stop. Don't ever stop. No matter how hard it gets at work, personal life, whatever. If you have a passion for something, do it. Do it, whatever. Nobody supports you, tell them Sammy supports you. Sammy got your back. Whatever you're trying to do. Freaking jewelry, whatever. Whatever you're trying to do, right? Just go ahead, do it. I got your back. You
I
have
think,
that passion.
I mean, that is, you took a lot of the words that I was going to respond to after. And I mean, you're right. If you have a passion for something, it is going to happen. And if you truly are meant to do something and you have that just drive for it, it's just going to happen. And obviously, things are going to push you down. Like, I think when you're at your lowest point, you kind of find out who you are. I think it happens to all of us. I mean, I don't want to go on to this story because like, but as soon as I found draft pros, or going into scouting, I was just not in a good place either. I think that right when we're on the cusp of something great, you have to go through that to really find out who you are. And I think being
Just
humble
kick the
and
door,
grounded
man.
is, yeah.
Yeah, just kick the door in.
When that door opens, you got to just run through it. And it's to whatever it is. But,
Yep.
I think like just because we're having this conversation, there are going to be things that come up in life that you don't understand necessarily, but you have to just take them in stride. And
Yep.
if I would have never had those dark times, I would have never found what I was truly here for, in my opinion. And I think I am here for scouting or just NHL media. You know, I feel like I found my people in my community. Everybody that I've talked to is very similar to me, and the path that they've got here, it wasn't going to journalism school, it was random. And I feel
Yeah.
that if you want to do this, there's really no right way to start. You just start. So with all of that, I mean, I really appreciate you having this conversation with me. It was, I mean, just this starting conversation. I'm glad I asked you before we did the mock about yourself because we would have never went down this road. But to any viewer out there that wants to get into this, I think that you just gotta you start out as a
Just get
contributor
in. Start
or
whatever you're
yeah.
trying to do. Just start. Watch video. Watch highlights. Go to a game, for example, and watch one
Mhm.
player. Just whatever. Just do it. Do it. Always, always. I always say that to everybody. There is room for everybody. There is room for everybody. Just get in and don't stop.
Um, Obviously those events like you were talking about earlier, it's really great to meet people. If you go to one of those events and you just introduce yourself to a lot of people or bring a binder of your scouting reports, like one of my buddies does at Draft Pros, people are going to start watching. I had no idea who knew who I was, and I had no idea how people knew. You obviously said the same thing. Your work will get found even if you have no idea how. It's really impressive.
NHL scouts read a lot of public stuff, and I can guarantee you people are reading your stuff. I can guarantee you people read Sebastian stuff. I can guarantee you people are saying reading Gabe Foley stuff, and everybody on the public side, like they know you. They know you. You just have to show up and continue to show up. And it's hard. It's hard to get in. It is. It's you. If you are an area scout, you are one of the 32 people in the world who does it. You have to think about it like that. It's extremely unique position for every area there is. But I think you people can get in. Just be willing to learn, put your ego aside, and just work hard. And it is cliche to say that. It is. I realize that, but it's as I think it's honestly as simple as that. It's been like that for me, so maybe some for something else for somebody else, but
Yeah, you got to be a sponge. You got to be a sponge. Just learn everything you can. But with all of that said, I want to close that out with just, follow your passion, do whatever you want to do. Follow Sam because obviously his journey is going to be incredible to watch and follow along as well. I see incredible things. I know if any GMs or scouts are watching this, put Sam on your priority list to contact because this guy is going to be awesome. I can't wait to meet you. I'm going to be going to the World Juniors as well. So if there's time,
fantastic.
you know,
Absolutely.
but let's get going on this top 16 mock draft, and then after, if there's anything else we want to talk about, we will definitely do that. But you're going to have odds here, so you're going to go. Islanders pick first, and I just want to get your thoughts on the Islanders pick here, because obviously as well as I want to know if you think there's a chance that James Haggins could also be a second first round pick for the Islanders with everything going on.
Interesting. Let's get to it.
We're gonna do our top 16 mock draft now. Sam is gonna be odds, and he's gonna start us off with the Islanders pick.
Islanders pick. Uh, I think there's no wrong choice in like two or three people in here, but I'm gonna say Matthew Schaefer for the first overall pick. You can build your defense around that guy, and you have Ryan Pullock, you have Adam Pelech, you have Noah Dobson, you got Romanov. And I would say, like, there are rumors out there that Islanders are shopping Romanov. I think that
Mhm.
that speaks more value than people might realize at this point because they have a chance to take Schaefer, and
That's
I think they
interesting.
will.
Well, the one rumor going around right now is James Haggins might be also a pick if he falls to 7 and then Boston trades out and Islanders trade up. Do you see that as a scenario where Islanders can pick up Schaefer and Haggins?
Absolutely. And I honestly I have no idea why Hagen is falling, but
Me neither.
uh, I mean he is one of the craziest good skaters I have ever like seen in his draft year. Like just insane coordination, insane hands, insane creativity, and great scorer too. He's just being 5'10" sometimes is a disadvantage, but I don't think it's an. I honestly don't think it's an issue. Like you look at Jack Hughes and guys like that who are like extremely fluid. So back to the point, like I think there is a chance. I think James Higgins expressed enough times that he wants to be an Islander throughout this process. He said it basically at every opportunity, even if
Yeah.
if it's not warranted. So I can see it. I think Isles are going to try to get guys who want to play there.
I mean, I completely agree, especially with what happened with John Tavares, even though he played a long
Also,
time there.
also good point. Another good point. Cole Eiserman, his longtime liney, is in their system.
Mhm.
So I think that makes sense too. And Kamil Bednarik, who we played with last year in Finland in at the U18s.
One of the
Anyway,
Islanders beats. One of the Islanders beats just actually did an interview with Iserman and James Haggins that I think is coming out soon. I got to meet him Rosner at the Combine, and
oh,
he's just
Stefan,
great. But yep,
I
Stefan.
love this guy. Yeah.
He interviewed me, and then I got to interview James Haggins right after. So it was really cool because I got insight on him, and then I asked James Haggins a bunch of questions. And James Haggins is actually my third ranked player in the entire draft. I think the Blackhawks should pounce to get him. Like you said, incredible skater, great playmaker, 37 points
Mine
in
too.
37 games, but he was playing against 22 to 25-year-old men. He's built a lot more in the lower half than a lot more people think. I mean, the NCAA guys are just built kind of differently. Colin Potter is also very built in the arms and the upper body. So it just kind of goes to show you kind of what kind of size you need to play with in the NCAA. I think he's more NHL ready than most people think. It's going to be more of a James Hag or Jane or it's going to be more of a Jack Hughes type of first 2 seasons where he just learns the league. But when this guy pops, he's going to pop. I see Frank
Oh yeah.
Nazar, Logan Cooley, Jack Hughes-esque type of tier, especially with his skating ability. So whoever gets Jack Hughes, I mean, well, whoever gets James
James Higgins.
Haggins,
Yeah, yeah.
they're getting an
Okay,
incredible
basically.
player, and I hope the
Yes.
Blackhawks get him because he said that Kane was the best player in American history. So I love that guy. But number 2, San
Wrong, but
Jose. You think wrong? It's
yeah.
Matthews? Yeah. My,
No, I'm
we
just
have.
joking. Until he
Well,
wins a cup, it's Kane.
do you think he needs 1 or 2 or 3 cups to overtake Kane?
I think one is enough, but he needs to get it.
Okay. I think he needs like 6 or 7. No.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, right, yeah.
but yeah, Matthews is an incredible player. I mean, but to your point, Patrick Laine had more goals than him his rookie year, so or his first 2 years in the league. But with that aside, San Jose is going to be running to their cell phone because it's a decentralized draft, hopefully for the last time. Because I hear, you know,
I
nobody
hate it.
likes this kind of format. Yeah, So they're going to be running to their phone for Michael Misa. I think that kid is incredible. Obviously, put up totals like Patrick Kane and John Tavares, who we kind of just already talked about in the OHL. He is a versatile, I think, forward, if you can give him that designation, because he's both, he could play the center and the left wing slot, in my opinion. You put him in your top six with San Jose. That's so scary as a Blackhawks fan to look at. They have, you know, I think they have
So
one true top four defenseman in their prospect pool, though, Sam Dickinson. So they obviously would want
I love
Schaefer.
that guy.
Michael Misa is one of the best players like that I've seen,
And
especially skating. I don't know why
yeah,
he gets a lot of hate.
I don't get it. But I don't know. I don't get it. Like maybe it's the bad playoffs this year, and just the entire team just blew up in the first round. But like that guy can skate, score, whatever you want him to do. Like he's breaking records that John Tavares set way back, and yeah, like I kind of describe him as like a faster John Tavares because he
Hmm.
just consistently like, does offensively insane things, and people are not appreciative. Maybe it's because he's on top of the lists like 2 years in a row, and people are looking way too much into some of the details. It's kind of a problem with James Higgins too. But yeah, like to me, it's a no-brainer. Second overall pick. He's my number two ranked player after Schaefer. So
Hmm. Yeah, I have Schaefer and Misa in the same tier because obviously if Chicago is drafted number one, they would go Misa. If Islanders, San Jose, and a bunch of others, these teams would draft number one, it would be Schaefer. I think that Misa was
very close
incredibly
up top for
underrated.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, he
Yeah,
was four on people's rankings this year, and I was like, what are you guys doing? I don't, why?
come on.
And James Haggins is great, and it's not on that. And also, James Haggins during summer scouting was higher than Schaefer was on my list. But after what he showed in the OHL with his offensive abilities, like Schaefer jumped up as well as the World Juniors with that one game in 4 minutes where
Schaefer
he was the
does
best
it
player.
all. Like I compare him like heavily to Drew Doughty. He can just
Gotcha.
do it all. Do it all. Play a lot of minutes and just do it all. Control the game. He can control the game defensively, offensively, whatever you need him to do. He does it all. Like that's a cornerstone of a franchise.
I mean, Drew Doughty was winning championships with the Kings way back when, and he was a big reason why. As a Blackhawks fan, I would hate to play Drew Doughty. I mean, he compares himself and same with his assistant coach to Cale Makar and Miro Heiskanen. I tend to think more Miro Heiskanen just because Cale Makar scored 30 goals this year, and it looks like he could continue to do that anytime he wants. I think Matthew Schaefer could
He's
get to 15 plus,
insane.
but 30 is insane. That was more than that was the same amount as Austin Matthews. So like you're getting an Austin Matthews type of player and I mean not really. It was a bad season for Matthews and obviously luck. He had 70 goals the year
He
before,
played
69,
injured, yeah.
but yeah. But also Michael Misa played injured in those playoffs for Saginaw, and I don't think a lot of people talked about that. And Igor Chernyshov is going to be an incredible second line mate with him. So there's just so much
Dude,
to love at San Jose. You
dude,
talk about the
Must Quentin
Musty.
Musty, Celebrini, Chernyshев, Will Smith, and now Misa. Honestly, uh, we kind of semi wanted to talk about this. I think sneaky spot for Marner is San Jose.
I could see that. They
Rounding
have
up
so
that
many
top
top
six,
six.
Jesus,
Well,
jeez.
Eklund, dude. And what people don't
Him
understand about
too.
Musty, like people don't understand about Musty is he actually skates in the offseason with Misa. Like they skate together. They've been training together for years with Jack
Yeah,
Ivankovich and his dad. Like he runs the skate with Matthew Schaefer, Misa Hage, a bunch of these NHL players with Musty. So they've actually seen each other a lot. Misa said he wanted to be a Shark. I mean, because Malcolm Spence spilled the beans. Who Malcolm Spence was roommates with Misa and Schaefer this year because obviously in Erie Otters. Sharks are a scary team. If they I think that they use the rest of their first round picks and their early second, which is basically a first 33 on defense, and you just load up on defense, maybe even try to take a swing on like a Rombatch or Simon Wang or somebody that falls. But the Sharks are
Mhm.
the real deal. They're very scary. And the fact that they got Sam Dickinson for the 11th pick last year, which shouldn't have happened. I think they should have went Boyum, but I'm glad they didn't. Uh, Basically just solidified their defense. So Chicago is the team that is my favorite team, obviously, and they would love to have one of these first two picks, and they could trade out, which is what we're hearing, but I think it's more of a 1 in 3 chance of that happening. I'm going to say the guy
I
that
don't believe that.
I don't need
I
like
don't believe they would trade.
that's why like 1 in 3 chance for me is high. Like 33% chance, that's a high chance, but that's also like 2 out of 3 you keep the pick. So there's a 67% chance you keep that pick, which I believe will happen. What I'm hearing is I would personally pick Haggins or Martone and then just figure out the rest later, whichever role you want. If you want
Yes.
Haggins as your true 2C, or if you want Martone, or he can even play winger, but if you want Martone to pair up with Bedard. But I believe that they're going to take Frondel based on everything I'm hearing. And obviously, I'm not the biggest Frondel guy, but the thing is, I really like I think he has the second best shot in the entire draft to Carbonell. I think that his transition game is only going to get better going from the SHL to the American Hockey League with the smaller rink sizes. I think that this guy could be a versatile center or wing, so you could put him with Bedard. I
To me,
I
he is
just
like a winger for sure. Like I, here is my big thing with public and NHL Central Scouting as well. He has 20 total face-offs this year in Sweden
hmm,
between juniors and pros. He only played center for the national team because they don't have anyone else to round out that top six. They have Eric Nilsson, and they played Vico Bjork up a year, and they have Gustav Hillström and guys like that, depth guys like that. But Frondel could play center, but I don't see him as a like, especially on the Blackhawks. I see him as like a left shot cannon style player next to Connor Bedard.
that's how I see it.
And
That's why I said winger.
like
That's exactly how I see it.
my comparable to Frondel is actually Max Pacioretty. Like a lot of details are similar when it comes to board battles and the shot, obviously. But like so with Chicago, I mean you really can't go wrong here per se, unless you jump into like O'Brien's, who I'm kind of lower on personally.
Hmm.
I love Denoyer. I love him. I that's a if you are looking for a 2C for Chicago, like to build out long term, like he might be your guy because he's just. I think he's another Bergeron, but anyways,
He's a true center, true 2C. That's why I think Montreal Canadiens
he
really want to trade up for him.
dude, dude, he is. He played with two broken wrists
Yep.
basically since November and put up highest face-off percentage in the class. He had 63.7% on the year.
He had to go
Insane.
to he moved to
Insane.
wing because he couldn't do it anymore. Like it hurt him too much. And I think he re-aggravated that injury, both of the wrists, in game 3 of the Mem Cup final. Or I mean not Mem
Yep.
Cup in the Mem Cup. So, he is somebody that great personality. I think that he's going to be drafted probably in the next couple picks here with ours, so I don't want to spoil anything. But Caleb Desnoyers, I think, has a lot higher upside than Anton Frondel. I just want to say that. So, as a center, if Frondel plays with Connor Bedard, I understand why you would do it because you have that elite shot. You have somebody that, I mean, you needed Victor Eklund to play drive, so he can obviously be that complementary star or complementary piece to a star that helps like defenses have to go to his side too. If he can just, get kind of Like it would be not OV light because that would be still incredible. It would have to be like OV light, where it's like
Like
you have
imagine,
that offense.
imagine like prime Montreal Canadian Max Pacioretty having a winger like Bedard.
Yeah,
It's basically what you're
yeah.
getting in Frondel. He's a really good player, and he's my number 7 ring. Like that shows you the top of the draft being as good as it is, right?
I was getting into fights with people about 3 months ago because everyone was saying that, not everyone, a lot of people were commenting this was a weak class. And I was like, just wait until we're at the draft. Class is actually so deep. You go to like pick 40 and there's still players I really like. I I know people were like, there's no generational talent, so the hype was lower. And that's the only reason. If there was a Connor Bedard, people would
Even
love this
that,
class.
I think it's wrong. Even that, I
Well,
think is wrong because you have
I think
Schaefer, you
Schaefer
have
and Misa.
Hagens.
Yeah. I can see if Haggins was 6'2", I think that they would say he's generational. He's 5'11", and he's a lot taller than that. Like, I mean,
He's breaking records since he's 16 on an international stage. That's special.
people have it wrong on Haggins, man. That I like that we agree on this because people have it wrong on Haggins. Haggins is a very good player. That is does not make sense if he goes to 7. It does not make sense if he goes to 5. Like, what are teams doing?
I would
Brady
be
Martin should
screaming
not.
if
If Brady Martin is not even in the same tier, like same planet as James Haggins, in my honest opinion. And I'm high on Brady Martin, but it's just like
I
Brady
love
Martin at
Mark.
7 is much better than Brady Martin at 4 because the people you have to take above him. I mean, I like Brady Martin. I think he's a playoff player. However, James Haggins is just so
He is
much
your
better.
Sam Bennett. He's your Sam Bennett. But do you take Sam Bennett at number 4? Well, technically, yes, because he went number 4 in his draft year, right?
I don't think he has
In
the
20,
offense Sam Bennett does, but I agree. Like, that's the player
he,
count.
I saw him live at the U18s. I was waiting for a moment he's going to murder somebody. He was running people over every shift, every damn shift. I was talking to somebody in the stands. I'm like, dude, somebody's gonna fall in love with this player way too much
Mhm.
just because of what he does. And I like it for honestly, if it's Utah at 4, I get it because you have a bunch of skilled guys. You have obviously Keller, you have Schmalzi, you have Cooley, you have guys like that, all kinds of guys like that, and having a guy like Martin around the top 6, I think makes sense.
Mhm.
So for Utah, I can see it making sense because it's more NFL style thinking. It's like you get a player that you want for the position you want him to be. Like he's going to be a right winger in the NHL. He's not going to be a center. I don't feel he's going to be a center at all. But again,
Well, that's why I'm going to take Martin here at 4 for Utah because obviously we could keep talking about Martin because the odds and everything that everybody's telling me, it's Martin. I have no idea why, but Utah probably fell in love with him when they were slotted at, 10 to 14 throughout the year. They were probably like, we're going to take this guy, but do we have to trade up? They probably realized that. They probably were willing to trade up. Now you have a situation where you can trade back, get more assets, or just take him here and save those assets. Martin, to my book, is not a top 7 player. I totally get it if he was drafted here. Like you said, if it was the NFL
it
draft
makes
where it's
sense
3 months after,
It makes sense for the organization. It doesn't make sense from position in the draft, but it makes sense for the organization itself.
value wise, it doesn't make sense, but I totally understand what you're saying. And they got Shimashev and Boot. I mean, they have a loaded group. Logan
Cantor,
Coley,
you have
Heller.
Josh Doan, you have a lot of guys who just play that skilled game. You get a hammer like Martin into that top
Gunther.
6, top
Yeah,
9, dude. It's,
yeah. They are stacked. But for
they
5
are
for
very smart
Nashville.
front office.
Yeah.
Number 5 for Nashville. Okay, Nashville. who makes sense for Nashville, they need a center. Like we talk about best player available compared to like positional need. This is a positional need who has the best players available to them. So there's two choices here, right? Denoyer or Higgins. To me, it's Higgins, but I could understand why Denoyer would make sense here at 5, because he would get to learn from Ryan O'Reilly, and that's a scary thought with how good Denoyer already is.
Yeah.
Right? But Higgins could be that generational top line playing with Philip Forsberg until he retires type of player. So both make sense here. Honestly, gonna go. I'm I'm gonna go Higgins here. Um, Nashville didn't really have ever like a generational like number one center ever. So like their number one center for like 10 years was David Legwand. Which, um, he was great, but yeah.
Well, I think this is kind of where Nashville lucks out in the draft because I don't think Haggins should go here at 5. We've already said that multiple times, but Haggins could fall to this spot. I think that this is kind of where he will. If Martin goes 4 and Frendo goes 5 or 3, I think Haggins will go 5 here. But for Philadelphia, what I've been hearing is Jake O'Brien. I think, you know, I Jake O'Brien would be absolutely incredible with Mitch Koff. Obviously, Dane Laurier, his brother Elliot is also in the organization in the AHL level. Could we see Dane Laurier and also Martone? I'm gonna go with actually Dane Laurier here. I think Dane Laurier is just best player available for like, and they know his brother in the organization. He's kind of been skyrocketing. You have a player that would
You
be
get a
that
player
true
that can
2C.
learn from Couturier.
Yeah. I mean, just that's invaluable too. And then Mitchkov. So I think Dane Laurier just has the skills. We talked about his wrist injury. We talked about a lot. I don't think O'Brien is better than Dane Laurier. So in my book, I think it's close. But I mean, I don't think it's like close. But in draft perspective, it could be
I have
because
I I'm not gonna say like I don't like O'Brien because he's really skilled and really good like two-way player, but I have my limitations with him, and that boils down to production share, and we'll get to it when we get to actually pick O'Brien in this mock draft. I will talk about it in detail, but I have my worries there.
but for 7 is for Boston. If they don't trade the pick to the Islanders, well, obviously because Haggins would go before. But who do you think Boston will take?
Boston, oh, plenty of different options for Boston. I'm not really sure. I can't really put my pulse on like who they like the most. I know some of the guys in the front office and scouting and analytics and stuff like that. So, but I never asked them. Like, it's none of my business, frankly. And so, yeah, there's a lot of different options. Like, you can go high upside with McQueen. You can get uh, center like O'Brien. You can get Martone. You can. I don't think Martone makes as much sense here as like, people think because, like, frankly speaking, he. I mean, he will slot behind Pasternak, and mm, he. I think he's going to be a number one right wing somewhere else, but I don't think it makes sense for Boston, and Boston needs centers long term. Like it's a really like an organizational need at this point. And so for me with Boston, I think they go O'Brien. here. I think he makes sense for them. You have that creative player. Uh, Frankly, I don't think he is in this group of players quality wise, but I think he makes sense for the organization again, similar to Utah's selection at 7. Oh, not
All right.
7, 4. Geez, like
I'm gonna
O'Brien
put
here.
I'm gonna put
Yeah,
O'Brien in now
yeah.
to the I think that this is a really good pick. I'm gonna show you the top seven now. So
Hmm.
this is the top seven. I think that I know Don Sweeney saw Jig or Roger McQueen 3 times this year, and he only played 20 games or 17 games, and he scored 20 points. And he obviously could be here. They like Dean Letourneau last year, but they like size centers with size 6'5" right-handed centers. I think could happen. But Jake O'Brien here, I think would be the absolute phenomenal fit. He's also a right-handed center. Incredible playmaking, great vision. I think you're born with that kind of playmaking ability because every pass that he passes is flat. He was the best player in Brantford, and Nick Larda scored 72 goals. So just kind of think of how good he is. I think Boston is in a really good spot here too. I think that they would want Martin, and if they don't get Martin, they have a plethora of places. But 8 for Seattle. I always put Randy Merca here, but whenever Porter Martone falls this far, I always
Yep.
put Martone
My
here
exact
because
thoughts. Yeah. Exactly
well,
what I'm
because
thinking.
Martone is just a really great player. I think that his vision and shot is very underrated in this class. I think that if there's somebody that falls in this class, it's going to be him based on fit, not
Pe-
best player available.
People have been misunderstanding Marton. I feel because
Completely agree.
they think Corey Perry. They think like, oh,
Kachuk.
he's sick. Oh yeah, Kachuk, like nice. Like, oh yeah, he's 6'3" and he's big and whatever. He doesn't play a big game. Like, he plays a
Mm-mm.
skilled game. Like, to me, he reminds me of Mark Stone more than anyone else. Mark Stone, not a good skater, not that good of a skater. Still effective, still effective skater. He knows where to be. He know his spots. He's smart, two-way player, creative, creates a lot. Like, Mark Stone creates a lot. He's one of those like leaders who just he constantly creates something off the right wing side. And I think Porter Martone is in this very similar vein to him.
His skating is obviously the one weakness in his game, but if I talked to
I don't
Chris
worry
Peters, he
about it.
said, yeah, if you watch him 3 years out, he's a completely different skater. NHL coaches and a
That's the
regime.
first thing they do. First
Yeah,
thing they do all the
if
time.
he's skating every single day, he's gonna get better. If this guy's a average skater in the NHL, he could be a star. I have no doubt in my mind that this
Mark
guy is
Stone.
gonna
Like,
be the steal of the draft. Yeah, and you saw
my comparable to him is Mark Stone. I haven't seen that around anywhere personally, but just based on watching him live last year in Finland, um, it's just to me it to me Mark Stone makes the most sense. He's creative, not that good of a skater, still efficient and just creative. Mark Stone is also not that physical, but he plays a heavy pressure game, and Marton does that as well.
he's a great leader. He wore the C. Hockey Canada obviously loves this guy. He played with the men as well, learned valuable lessons with those guys. He has great hands. I think his hands are very underrated. You see this guy
Yep,
dangle through multiple defenders nightly.
people
I mean, his
have been
shot,
misunderstanding him.
yeah,
People have been misunderstanding. They're labeling him as next to Chuck and Nice and Wilson, whatever. He's not that. He's not.
he's more soft
He's not a
skilled.
brute. Like, yeah, he's Mark Stone. To me,
Mhm.
he's exactly like Mark Stone.
And he can play in the playoffs. Like this is a guy that has that frame who could add more and can he's not ever going to play with that meanness that a lot of people think that he will unless, he develops it, but it's very hard to develop that kind of meanness into your game. I mean, it's
He lead
being
into
able
the
to.
skill, and for Seattle it makes sense too because you have Shane, you have Ben Ears, you have Berkeley Cotton like last year at 7, right? So adding Martone to that group would be huge, 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 huge for them.
So at 9, who do you think the Sabres are going to take here?
Eklund,
Yeah, I agree. This is who I say a lot. I know that they say that they want bigger forwards, but Eklund is just that guy. He's very
Eklund
good.
plays like a big forward. He
Yeah, even as
honestly,
170 pounds.
yeah, he barely 170 right now, right? And so like they keep talking about, and I keep hearing that they really regret like not taking their time with Brandon Hagel when they had him. And I see Eklund as being like, okay, we can have our own Hagel here and get a player that's like an energy forward that's just gonna put 110% on every shift. And so to me, Eklund at 9 for Sabres makes sense. He's gonna bring that energy into the lineup.
I absolutely agree here. I mean, I've said this a lot, but Eklund was the play driver for Frondell, his line, and he set him up very well. He can go to the center of the ice. He's not afraid to take a hit to make a play. This guy has
He's
incredible
driving the
skill.
net every shift.
Hmm.
Every shift. He
And he's playing against
basically,
men.
that's the thing with Eklund is whether he plays on the left side or the right side, right? Because he's a winger, he's not ever going to be a center. But whether he plays on the right side or the left side, he's always driving the net. He always does this. He receives the puck from either the defender or a center on a breakout, goes to the left side or right side, whatever the side he's on. He puts the engine on, enters the zone, cuts to the inside, and just drives the net. Gets into the net all the time. And so, to me, like Sabres need that energy, and I think he makes sense for them if he falls here.
I completely agree. And for 10 at Anaheim, I would have loved Eklund because Leo Carlson and Eklund together would be fantastic. But obviously, since 2010, there's always been two defensemen in every single top 10. Could this change? Could Anaheim go with a Roger McQueen? They just took Beckett Seneca,
Sure,
so and the back injury.
sure. Yeah.
But I think that they could go for somebody like a faller here with Merca or Jackson Smith. It's basically what cup of tea that they want. Do they want more of a right-handed or left-handed defenseman? I think that they're
I,
going to
I
take,
think the left side is set,
yeah.
frankly.
So I think Redeem Merca here is where
Yeah.
I would go. Um,
And also, you got the Czech influence in Ratko Gudas.
that is true.
It's another
I mean,
factor, I feel.
Merca has a ton of confidence. He said he wants to be the best Czech defenseman of all time. He played against men at 16. He played against Yager and he tried to hit him at the combine. That was a very funny talking point. He didn't know who Kyle Dubas was until he saw a picture of him. I think that this guy is just a shoe-in for
Lovely
the top
kid.
10
I'm
pick.
not lovely kid.
I love this guy. And he's
Yeah,
tall too. He's actually 6'6". He's
he's
six
very
six.
tall. Yeah, he's very
So
tall.
and he has
I
a lot
don't
of
like
offensive
him as
skill
much,
that's untapped.
frankly.
Go ahead.
Frankly, I don't like him as much as the public. Frankly, I maybe I'm maybe I haven't seen something which is possible. But he played in my region before going to WHL, and for me, he's incredibly raw. Like he has a lot, every skill in the world to be like a second pairing guy long term, right? Two-way guy. He can play any role. Like you can develop him into that, but out of like 20 games I have seen, 10 of them live, I have not seen a single game where he put it all together. I worry about it. Like that's a real worry for me. He hasn't shown it, and like he had a horrible under 18s, horrible. Like he was panicky. He didn't know what to do with the puck. He made one great play where he went coast to coast to score a goal in second game. I believe that was a really pretty goal. But I I worry a bit with him. Like I worry about a team being like, okay, I think you are the next this, and he wouldn't be able to provide that. And I had a similar worry with David Jiříček a few years back. Um, I just worry about a wrong team picking him. Frankly speaking,
That's a good point. Um, the thing about that is, since he is so raw, it also increases his upside because he hasn't had that game where he put it all together yet, and he hasn't had even a stretch of games where he looked close. But that's also one of the things of like a guy like Moritz Seider, who is his player comp. This guy has absolute incredible top four upside, but the offensive game is there, but it's when he's not thinking. It's just like he plays. He goes out there and play. I
it's
feel
just
like a
most
lot
of
of the
yeah.
mistakes are mental, and it's everything. I mean, in a split second game in the NHL, you can win or lose a game basically because of that. If he figures it out, this guy could absolutely be a star.
Yes,
You need to be patient with him.
100%
You need to be patient with him, and I think
long
Anaheim
term
could be.
development.
Yep.
They have time. They have time.
You can't really find that skill. I mean, he's made in a factory. 6'6", right-handed defenseman with that much skill. I mean, in all
That's skating
honesty, I
too. Like
yeah, he has more upside, in my opinion, than Artem Levshunov, and I'm a huge Blackhawks guy, but he does. I mean, more upside, but maybe not floor, obviously. But I mean, if this guy hits, he's definitely a top pair player that can cover a lot of the ice. Put him with a Lane Hudson if he falls to 16, 17, or put him with a Quinn Hughes if he's at 15, and you just allow him to just be a defensive defenseman at first. And I know that doesn't really suit his game, but you allow the other guy to gain confidence, and then it opens up the ice for him, and he could just start to cook. I think this guy actually has star potential if he hits. Now, if he hits, is going to be tough. Could I see him being a underdeveloped third pair defenseman in the NHL? I think I could see that, but I would bank on top four upside here. But for Pittsburgh, if they keep the pick, do you think? I mean, I'm sorry. Obviously, Rangers have the pick, but Pittsburgh's first pick. Who do you think they're going to go here?
Kashawn Aitchison.
That's who I always put. I usually
Like
put him at
that's
12, but yeah.
and I'm not gonna like be saying this just because I know their guys. But I think he's the most Wes Clark pick you can ever imagine in this draft, and he's just so good, like physical. Like he has that. Like we you talked about Murtka having star potential. This guy has a rock star freaking potential. Like this guy, he has a cannon of a shot. He murks people on the ice like a train. He like skates well. He fights. Like he has everything to be like a fan favorite,
Mhm.
loved, absolutely beloved type of player. Especially in Pittsburgh, like they are looking for who are the next guys to head into new generation. Like having him there, I think makes too much sense. Unless Brady Martin is available, which I mean,
Oh yeah.
then you got the
Sue.
Sue guy. Yeah,
Yeah. So Kayshawn Aitchison had 26 goals in the OHL. Maybe those are not all translatable, but the thing is, he had 26 goals, and his real superpower is his physicality, the way he plays, his defense. I think that this guy could absolutely be a top 10 pick and a steal. If he was a
yep.
right-handed defenseman, could he go top five? I think 100%, in my opinion.
He's my number
I
two ranked defender this year.
I think that that's Him, Merck. I mean, him, Jackson Smith, and Merck are all very close to each other. I think Jackson Smith has more offensive upside, um, but Aitchison has more of a playoff upside. Where if you put this guy in, he can handle the playoff moments. So to go to 12, if the Rangers keep this pick, which we never know, what could happen because they are
They have
selling off their team.
48 hours before the draft to decide, so
Yeah.
they have plenty of time still.
So who do you think will go 12? Even if it's not the Rangers or or if it is Pittsburgh, who do you think will go 12?
If it's Rangers, let me see. Um, if it's
Oh wait,
Rangers,
no,
I
this
can
is
see.
me. Sorry, this is me actually.
Okay, go ahead.
I totally got that one wrong because you had odds obviously, but the Rangers, if it's Rangers, I think that they're gonna go with Roger McQueen here. It's just best player available. I mean, his fall stops here. Um, even if it's Pittsburgh, you get that 6'5" right-handed defense or right-handed center. I think that that's very hard to find. The back injury was a lot. It was misdiagnosed. He did pull-ups and bench
It was
press. So
misdiagnosed twice, no? Like
I think so.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously you got to feel for him because the reason that it took so long to come back was because it was misdiagnosed. He said he's been pain free for about 40 days now, 30 before the combine, but now about 10 days later. I think that this guy is just a superstar potential. He has one of the highest upsides in the entire class if he hits. Before it was Roger Lightning McQueen, all the highlights before summer scouting last year was just this guy's going to be top five pick. He had 4 goals in his first game. Everyone was screaming top three pick. Obviously, he missed time, and then the Kaden Lindstrom thing kind of hurts him. But this is a different injury than Kaden Lindstrom. It was misdiagnosed. He is pain free now. I think a team will get a steal with McQueen. I think this is why this draft is so deep to me. Because you can get a guy like McQueen at 12. You can't do that in normal drafts.
Yes, 100%.
So
I
at third,
agree.
go ahead.
I thought like my pick for Rangers would be Carbonell, just because of the absolute tank that he is and
Shot.
the scoring potential. But I can also see Carbonell slipping a little bit, just because his game is not as rounded out as some other guys here.
I think that he could go top 10 if he goes to Boston, which is kind of the rumor there. If he wants to play in the Ryan Leonard role, he kind of has it. So if he plays with James Haggins, like he could score 20 plus goals. That would be absolutely incredible for both of them. Um,
Yes.
do you think he's at Detroit at 13? Do
Was that again?
you think Carbonell goes here at 13 for Detroit?
Uh, Potentially. Let me take a look at who is available. Just give me a second. Yeah, I mean, Carbonell makes sense here for Detroit. They need a sniper.
To me, it would be
They've been
between
picking
him
up.
and go ahead.
Yeah, so like they have a lot of two-way guys they drafted in the years prior, and getting a sniper like Carbo, I think, would make sense for them.
Uh, Michael Branson, Nygaard. You have Nate Danielson, uh,
Michael Casper.
Marco Casper, Axel Sandin Palinka is obviously just one of the pieces of the core, so you don't really need a Jackson Smith. Obviously, they could go that route. If I was picking, I might go that route. But I, I mean, Carbonneau is just so good. And the thing is, he was very underrated in the queue, and I think it destroyed his hype a little bit. Because if this guy was in the NCAA, he could go a lot higher. He has a Cole Iserman type of shot, and he could shoot at all angles. Shout out Link from New Wave Hockey, who kind of put me on earlier in the season, who works with you guys over there. But yeah, I think Carbonneau would be a really good fit here, and it's kind of a Stevie Y pick. Somebody that might be like, What are we doing here?" But he should go in this range for sure. He can also go top 10. So for 14 at Columbus, this is a guy that has met with them multiple times, went out with dinner with him. at the combine, and it's Lyndon Lakovich, who actually just followed me the other day, and his dad follows me on Twitter, so that's
Nice.
awesome. I love that. Lyndon Lakovich now follows me on TikTok. I had 5 followers the other day. Now I have like um, 300 something because I've just been spamming my scouting combine clips. And I don't know how TikTok
Nice.
works, but it's where all the prospects are all the time. Like Redeem Merca's always
Yes.
checking on my page, and I try to follow him, but he doesn't follow me back. But that's fine. No, Redeem Merca's awesome. I love this kid. But Lyndon Lakovich has very good upside. When he first joined the WHL, he said he was just trying to dangle through 3 defenders, didn't know how to play a 200-foot game. He grew a ton and actually didn't know how to play a heavy game with that role. It's very difficult when you just pop up to be 6'4" one day. And Lyndon Lakovich has
Yes.
soft skill. Obviously, you've heard it time and time again. He is not a power forward. If you look at him, he is a 5'10" center or a 5'10" a forward in a 6'4" and a quarter body. I think that this guy has phenomenal hands. His edge work is great. He's a good skater. He played for Moose Jaw and then won a championship, and then this year was completely opposite. He had to wear that C on his chest, or and
I
he was
mean, he's
hurt for a
playing
little
on a
bit of the year.
freaking island over there. Like, there
Yeah,
is no support.
Savoy left. I mean,
None.
you had a lot of guys leave. They were dominant the year before, then nothing. It's very hard to go to that. And he is somebody that just, whatever happened to him, he was just like, this is just the adversity we need. He's going to stay at Moose Jaw until they don't know what happens because they are kind of rebuilding or retooling right now. I could see him getting traded before the deadline for like 6 first-round pick. I mean, I don't even know what Lyndon Lakovich would go for over there, but um, yeah, he's one of my favorite players. He's very productive in the dub. I really like Lyndon Lakovich.
Makes sense. Yeah, I like they have a center group kind of sorted out long term with the Voronkov and Lindstrom and Fantilli and all these other guys. Obviously, like your first best option is Boone Jenner. Like, you're in a good spot, but yeah, Lakovic makes sense there.
So for 15 for Vancouver, who are you taking there?
Cole Rashney.
Got it. Yep.
I love this player. I love this player. He is in my top 10. He just he drives play incredibly. You can see the impact. You can see the impact of his. Whenever he steps on the ice, you can see it at U18s a lot. And yeah, so like to me, he makes sense as the next like second line center for them. People look at like he's 5'10" and whatnot. He has incredible numbers. Like analytics wise, he is so incredibly good. His playoffs, dude, insane, insane. What he did with
He was putting
Victoria.
Gavin
He's
McKenna
more,
numbers up.
yeah, yeah, and he went to U18s and he made like he was their best player. This like first shift he landed there immediately. Immediately,
Completely
the
agree.
entire team elevated. Yeah, him and Verhoev too, but
Can I ask you about
but
his skating? People talk about his skating.
I don't worry about it. It's efficient. Like he's always in the right spot. He's effective skater. And for me, there are three things in skating. Like, are you fast or slow? That's one. Are you agile? Like, how is your movement? And are you effective? It was the same knock on Anton Lundell when he was in his draft year. It was, oh, but he's slow, Sammy. He's slow. Yeah, but he's always in the right spot. He's fine. He
Yeah.
seems fine. I mean, double champ at 24 years old. He seems good. He seems fine.
I think he's
Like
doing pretty good.
yeah, I had him third overall that year, and I don't think I was high enough. I love this. I love that player.
Yeah.
And Reshti for me is in a similar vein, maybe smaller. His numbers, like one of the best play driving numbers in the dub. Uh, he was like a top 5 face-off guy this year. He's like 56 or like 57% all year, which is insane. And so for me, it's a no-brainer pick here for Vancouver. They're looking for
His
long-term centers.
his face-off numbers just make Caleb Desnoyers' numbers just sound so much better because, I mean, he was what the second best center in face-off. So then Desnoyers was in the 60 plus and with two bum wrists. So yeah, and so it just kind of makes it way nicer. And Resny, no one kind of helped his case more than Resny in the last 2 months. But for the last pick, we have Montreal, like the Canadians, and I think that they're going to be running to their phone for Carter Bear because I think Carter Bear is just the perfect pick here. You get what the upside, he's skating, the lacerated Achilles. If it was truly like
Dog,
fully lacerated, it,
dog.
he told me 3 times in our interview that hard skill and how his mentality and tenacity is the reason why he's here. 2 years ago, he didn't even think he'd be in the draft process. So he got to play
Mm-hmm.
with somebody like Landon Dupont. Um, and I think this guy's versatile. He could play wing or center. I think his offensive upside is absolutely incredible. He had 40 goals this season, 82 points in 56 WHL games. He was more sad that he couldn't play in the playoffs than he was about his future career because he's already skating and participating in offseason activities this year. I got to talk to him right after
Wild.
the injury, actually. Yeah, so he dodged a absolute bullet with that injury. He could have been out a year and a half, a year plus, and then so I think that they're getting a steal. Montreal's getting a steal, Carter Bear. I've heard time and time again that this is the guy that they like. They like Roger McQueen too. So if Roger McQueen slips, look out for like if Roger McQueen actually slips and you have Pittsburgh having that other pick at 12 and then it's McQueen on the board, I think Montreal could try to trade up because they need a second line center. Like that's what they kind of need. However, Carter Bear could also be that second line center, but if they have like
I don't
Michael
see him
Hage
as a
wants to be
center.
there. I see him more
I
as a
don't see
forward
him
too,
as a
but
center. Yes, I see Bear as kind of like a support piece to Nick Suzuki.
I definitely like that a lot. I think that that's brilliant. Because I don't think
Dog.
Kirby Doc is their answer for second, maybe second line center. I think that they're after that contract is up, they look to change up. I mean, they have Patrick Laine too, so they have a lot of great players. He could play with Cole Caulfield. He could play with Ivan Demidov. Um, Maybe he's an incredible third line winger for you too, where you're bringing upside, where he's basically a second liner.
Dude, if you have him as a third line winger, you are a
Yeah.
contender,
But where
basically.
does he play? I mean, you have four absolute studs on that top six, and then you have Carter Bear. And if he hits, like he has to be a third liner, in my opinion. It's just kind of interesting to think about.
I don't think so. Like, dude,
Well,
I don't know what
Slav,
happens with
Demidov,
Dak and Line, but like if they are in your bottom six, it's kind of like in an offensive role. That's a great spot to be in, frankly.
mhm.
So you have Bear, Suzuki, and Demidov, and then you have Slavkovsky, Hage, Caulfield. That
It's
could be
5 for 4
something.
spots. Well, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, Hage is also what Bear is too, versatile center wing option. I think that whatever one develops into a better center could also take that role too. I really like Hage's game. I cannot believe that he fell all the way down to what 21 last year to the Habs. That
Yeah,
and then him in Michigan, he was just so productive. They have so many great players
insane.
there. Patrick Laine, if he ever figures it out again, he had 82 goals in his first 2 seasons combined, which is I don't think we'll ever see him and Matthews do
Mm.
that again.
I can
That
see
was
him more as like honestly, and we am reaching too much into the future here, but like Montreal having like a shutdown third line, just defensive studs, and then fourth line you have Kirby Dak, Patrick Laine, and somebody else on the left wing
Mhm.
who's just gonna check for them. right? Somebody physical. Like that forward line can play 13 minutes a night, five of them on the power play, and just rack up points that way. And you have an absolutely like elite bottom six construction. Like you have Obenbeck as your third line center, for example. Like that's kind of where I see them going with this.
I think the Habs and the Sharks and a lot of these teams that we talked about are really built for the future. But this concludes our top 16. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining. This is like the Hot Ones episode. Now it's your time to tell them where they can find you and what you have going on next. So
So you can
the floor
find
is
me
yours.
on X. Yeah, so you can find me on X. Uh, Handle is basically throughout all the different social media is Sammy T underscore 51 SAMMYT dot underscore 51. 51 being my favorite number growing up
Nice.
because I modeled every single game after Brian Campbell, and I got to meet him in Finland, and
That's
I got
awesome.
starstruck. And that's a weird one. And my buddy who actually plays hockey, he was like, "That's the most." Like he asked me like what my favorite player growing up was. And I said Brian Campbell. He's like he such a smooth skate. Like he was ahead of his time a little bit. And he was like, "That's the most scout answer I have ever heard." He's like, "It's highly specific." Yeah. So throughout different social media, same handle. Uh, it's X. It's Instagram. If you so desire, there's a lot of weight loss journey there, stuff like that on Instagram. I don't have TikTok. Uh, and it's basically just X and IG for me. And you can find my work at FC site uh, in my it's in my bio on X. So if you
Yeah,
want
and I'll
to read that, sure,
I'll link all of that stuff in the comments or the description of this video. I had an absolute blast talking to you. This was a great conversation, and we definitely have to have you back on for maybe a draft recap after the
absolutely,
draft or something.
anytime,
Yeah.
anytime, man.
So
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was really fun. I love what you are doing with this stuff, and just keep doing what you're doing. But you're doing great. I'm proud
thank you
of you.
so much. I really appreciate that. Honestly, being our age, I know we think that we're old, but I think we're doing incredible stuff at our age, and I want to continue to. I hope to see us both winning a Stanley Cup in the future and hoisting it.
Absolutely. I,
And
I I can see it. Yes.
I'm doing like two push-ups a day just so that I can build up the strength of 35 pounds on the ice. I mean, that's a that's big, you know. I don't want to get
Yeah,
too big, but the two push-ups it'll allow me if you stack them. So like, yeah. But yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody like and subscribe and check out all of his stuff because this was an absolute
absolutely.
blast. Thank you guys and peace.